for this relationship,
yes, very much.
Are you focused on the economics of all of this, or are you focused on the broader foreign policy? As a market participant, what matters more to you?
You know, I think they're very entangled, right? I think with China, when we talk about this at Academy Securities, we talk about the four levers of power: diplomacy, information, military, and economic. And as China is our main competitor, there is going to be economic competition. I think there are going to be peaks and valleys where it gets more or less tense. How we've been looking at it is there are going to be certain things that are just sacrosanct, whether it's chips, technology, AI, and there's going to be very little to no grounds for kind of movement with China. I think there are opportunities within the regular sphere of business to do things with China. I think the tariffs are a threat to bring them to the table, and we'll see where all that goes. But yes, we are going to be at an economic kind of Cold War with China, and that's not going to change once Trump takes office.
So, Pete, you think they open negotiations before they fire shots? And by shots, I mean tariffs when they walk back into the White House.
Yeah, I think he's going to announce the potential for tariffs, and he's going to want to see how China responds. That's his behavior, right? Even when they did the first round of tariffs, I think we almost have to go back to 2018, those first rounds of tariffs. One, it built up over a period of time, right? So there were talks, there were to and fro. Markets were reacting to that before he finally pulled the trigger and put them in. And also, if you remember, there was almost universal hatred of the tariffs, right? Almost every single economist that I know came out and said tariffs are awful, trade wars are bad. Turns out maybe they weren't so bad. And right now I'm hearing a lot of this, oh, protectionism fails, you can't do this. Well, China's been running a protectionist economy for 30 some odd years, and they went from nowhere to a real powerhouse. So we have been in a trade war for a period of time. I think the gloves are off. We are going to try and figure this out. I do think, though, the CHIPS Act is going to be, or some version of it, is super crucial. That is something we need to do a much, much better job of manufacturing domestically.
So if the tariffs aren't necessarily going to be as extreme or as quickly implemented as maybe fears initially were, that at least were expressed through the bond market, then what comes next? I mean, if the tax cuts can basically be extended, and that's basically the assumption in markets, doesn't that kind of tip the scales on the inflation, on the growth side of things that I think equity markets are waking up to?
I think when I look at the taxes getting extended, it seems incredibly likely, right? So I think it's going to increase the deficit, but a lot of that's priced in. I'm not sure that it does a ton for growth. I don't think anyone's been sitting there trying to figure out their expenditures based on higher taxes. I think most people kind of assumed on that. So I don't think you're going to get a big economic boost from the tax cuts, maybe something if it happens on the corporate side. I think that's more just the status quo. But I do think the bond markets got ahead of themselves in terms of worrying about deficit. Inflation, yeah, it could come back. We're seeing elements of that. And I do think we are probably going to see difficulty getting much below 2%, 2.5% even consistently as we try and build onshore refining, right? As we try and do a lot more of this resupply, I think Trump is going to do a very good job. I think one thing that's been lacking in a lot of the last 4 years as we've been trying to move towards sustainable and self-dependence is not in my backyard. Not in my backyard has stopped a lot of projects. And I think that's one area that Trump might do a good job of, is looking at some of these rules and saying, hey, those were important. They were put in place, but they were put in place where we're not really in a global economic competition with China. Now that we are, let's rethink some of these. And I think this time, as the previous guest mentioned, he is surrounding himself with some good advisors who he does seem to listen to.